Welcome to Survival Can Be Fun with me, Stephen Thomas. I think it's such great fun watching shows like Mountain Men or The Island or Running Wild with Bear Grylls or Alone or Naked and Afraid. These are marvelous shows and they look like, well, we're having a lot of fun. I'm not sure how much fun they are having. And you always think to yourself, come on, guys, haven't you watched past episodes? You know you're going to get third-degree sunburn. At least can't you just get, a branch off a nearby tree and just shade yourself from the sun? Or spend a few seconds and just split the branch in half and then put it over you to give yourself a little bit of a sun protection. And if it's squashing your neck, you can always put a little stick in to keep it open. So here we've got our shade. Or let's suppose you want to make yourself also a hat. I'm sure that you could take the same sort of branch and I'm sure you could split it open somehow and then get your fingers in or get your knife in and just run it down the middle and then prise it open and make yourself a hat of some sort. I mean, just bend it open like this and bending. Let's see if this by any chance can make us a little bit of a hat. Oh, there we go. At least we're out of the sun somehow. I also feel that I would make some shoes. Look, you've got 21 days or 30 days or 40 days to survive. Or alone, it's indefinite. It's gone up to 90 days that you've got to survive. Where's the rush, folks? Sit down under the nearest tree and make yourself some shoes, because I have seen on Naked and Afraid someone step on a thorn and A, they were in huge pain for a few days, and B, they had to tap out after that thorn festered. So why not make yourself a pair of shoes? Now the way I've made this pair of shoes is by taking this exact same type of branch and just cutting the leaves off. And you also get older branches. That shoe was made with an older one of these. So I'm busy just cutting this off. And there we go, we cut that off. Now people think that making shoes is going to take, I think, too long to make. Let's try making shoes with this type of leaf PTL. Get yourself more or less the size of your foot, and then I guess the way to bend it, let's try this, bending it this way, right, and then bend it again. You can bend it twice, then you don't put so much stress on it, and then bend and bend again. And you see I'm beginning to get the sole of a shoe. Right, so there, that's bent. Got to just keep it in place. Right. Now, how are you going to bind this finally in place? So you take your knife, right? I hate these pocket knives because the first rule of survival is to not hurt yourself, and these things always want to close. And to jab it through the stems, keep jabbing, and then to take a stick. Say, here's a stick. And then to poke it through. So you go from there into the next one. And if it won't poke, just pull it out again and make a hole with your knife. Now you need the strongest stick possible. So there, the stick's going through. Now you can see it's beginning to hold it in place already. And then poke a hole again. There. And there. Then pull that, push that in. Push the stick through it. Let's poke another hole. And finally, there. So we're pushing this right through. You can see the sticks come out here. Pull it back just a little bit and push it, and let's help it by cutting it here, and let's push it all the way through. Careful your hands. And there you see the stick coming through. So now here we've created the beginning of our shoe. And then I would hammer this on the ground to get it to come through. And there we've got the one side of the shoe. Now we're going to do the same on the other side, and then we'll show you how we complete it further. Now suppose this is my foot. I'm going to put my foot in through these straps, and then my big toe is going to go like that, and then I will tie this around my foot. I'll show you how it works. So this would be for the toe, like a flip-flop. Now what do we make straps out of? Again, we don't want to spend horrendous amounts of time in the boiling sun. But here is the PTL, slightly dried, of the same plant as we were using. Now we can break this open, and you will see that this is a very fibrous material. And with this fibrous material, if we pull it open like this, we can make string or rope. So here is a piece of rope that we've made. We don't even have to reverse wrap it or twist it or anything. It's basically fairly good to go. And just experiment with it and try and find pieces that are as unbrittle as possible or as elastic as possible. And now with this fairly strong cord, we're going to tie up our shoes. So here you can see me walking around on my homemade slip-slops, and I'm sure if I walk carefully these would last me maybe till I get to my bug out place for the evening, where I can make slightly better straps for the shoes, but I would use the same design. Now I'd like to show you how you make rope from the same PTL of this palm leaf. Pull off a stretch of the stuff and then break it in the middle and get yourself 2 pieces. So we're just splitting this PTL piece of the mid vein of the leaf down the middle. Now you've got 2 pieces like this. Get more or less the middle, fold it in half,
And then you're going to what they call reverse wrap. You wrap it and then fold it over. Wrap it, fold it over. Wrapping anti-clockwise, twisting clockwise. Wrapping anti-clockwise, twisting clockwise. And you'll see that we've got the beginning of a rope. And this is how you can make rope from any fibrous type of plant. Here's just using smaller pieces. There we've got a slightly thinner. And that makes a very strong and flexible piece of rope. So that's our rope making. Now the other thing which on these survival programs I always struggle with is fire. Now give the poor guys a big fire lighter. I mean, what's the stupid ferro rod that you scrape sparks off? Or, as many of them discover, you can use a concave lens. A convex lens, like a magnifying glass. So easy, just a few seconds and you've got fire. Or what about Tim Taylor? What's it, Tim the handyman guy? There's a real lens, a Fresnel lens. You focus this bad boy on the sun, all that sunlight is focused onto a spot, and in seconds you've got, focus it onto some kindling, poof, you've got a flame. Or failing that, just go for your, always take yourself a bit lighter. How much easier is that than fiddling around with flick, 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 flick? I mean, who are we fooling, guys? Come on, what's the difference between a bic and a ferro rod? So I would use the magnifying glass. I have used, or having watched Naked and Afraid, I have used the bow drill. And yes, on many occasions I've made fire practicing with a bow drill. I first put it into an electric drill and tried it out that way. And when I found myself getting good at making fire, I just made my bow drill out of a piece of fig tree and a piece of string and nice your bow and your drill, and not that hard, very easy to make fire with a bow drill as well. And if I knew I was going on Naked and Afraid and wasn't going to have shoes, I'd be walking around for a month on sand and stones, and I wouldn't wear shoes at all till I toughened up my feet. But what's the rush to get sunburnt and dehydrated, to rush off in the midday sun like mad dogs and Englishmen? No. Towards evening, I'd rather have myself a little shelter not far from where I started and clean it up, get yourself maybe a debris shelter. So easy to make a little A-frame with a pole going down the middle, a few poles stacked up against it, pile in leaves, dry leaves, pile the whole A-frame full of leaves, climb in there, and you know, if there's mozzies and flying, biting things around, if you climb into the leaves, into your debris shelter, then you're going to be protected from the biting of these mozzies. Obviously, I'd eventually like to get myself the second night off the ground, because you don't want all those horrors and creepy crawlies crawling around, scorpions and snakes. So it'd be nicer to get yourself off, but for one night, what's wrong with a debris shelter? But the secret weapon, Naked and Afraid, is this, folks. This. 40 pounds packed away. Each pound gives you a day survival. The skinny guys don't last on Naked and Afraid or Alone. Guys, the biggest preparation you can do is fatten yourself up. I've got 40 pounds of fat here, excess fat, which I can burn. That buys me 40 days. I don't really need food. I just need water. And all the skinny folks, you see them dropping like skinny little flies. And you see the fat folks surviving, if you can handle it mentally. Now that's the thing. Who knows? Everyone thinks they can handle it till they get there.